Ah, shit. This episode of Defective Discourse has been brought to you by our patrons. Here at BRG, we'd like to thank those patrons who have subscribed and donated. It is because of generosity like yours that makes this show possible.
Defective Discourse. Welcome to the show where we talk about the topics that matter to you. Video games, media, technology, all starting now.
That was broke. Now we're live. Yay! It's Dumpster Fire the Technical Issue Show! I don't think that's how that works, Dragon, but good try. Yay! It was the second Tuesday of the month. Hold on just a second. Hold on. Yeah, another dumpster fire. Apparently they say you're silent. Let us try that. See if that fixes the... Let's see if this...
Hear you on the stream, but I couldn't hear myself. Testing. Oh, not that I couldn't hear myself. You.
Okay, we should be good.
Yeah, we're good. I can hear myself on the stream now. Better, says Dragon. I hear you. Okay, we'll go. I'll just rewind a little bit. Okay, so... All right, so we've been trying to get this particular show off the ground for like 2 weeks now. You guys who follow and watch, what's up?
Well, we skipped the first Tuesday of the month because the first Tuesday of the month happened to be New Year's.
Exactly. So for obvious reasons. Yeah, exactly. So for obvious reasons, we didn't do that. But you are no longer a voiceless hologram. Thank you, Dragon. And so last Tuesday, we decided to do this show, and we had some technical issues, and things didn't work out. We ended up stopping the show in the middle of it and decided that we would reconvene and do it this Tuesday. So here we are, Defective Discourse, the show for Bottle Rocket Gaming where we talk about things like gaming, news, and technology. But this show is going to be our predictions wrap-up from the Bottle Rocket Gaming podcast of last year, and we're also going to do predictions for 2019, which is going to be awesome. So this show might be a little longer than an hour, but that's okay. The only sad thing I have to report is I was hoping that Warped was going to make it in tonight, but for some reason we haven't been able to get in touch with him. So he might be a little upset when he sees this, but sorry, buddy. I mean, we waited a little longer, yeah. Plus we had to iron out all the technical problems.
By the way, speaking of technical issues, did we change the stream title?
Oh, no, actually, yeah, look, it's, I can see it. It says Defective Discourse Predictions Then and Now. And that was from last week because we changed it last week. So
fair enough. Okay.
That's actually a technical issue that worked in our favor.
Well, I have multiple monitors, but I've got them full of stuff, and I have chat on one side, I have chat and you on one side, I have OBS on the other, and then I have my primary screen, which is actually what you guys see, right in front of me. So it's like, I can't always see everything.
Dragon says, I'll drink on your guys' behalf. Cool. I'm cool with that.
At the rate this one's going, you might not have to drink on my behalf. I might do that on my own.
All right. So without further ado, let's get into covering off the predictions from last year. So at the end of 2018. Hey, Bob, Adventure, Quest World, Trump's. What? 2017 we made predictions, right?
Yes,
Or
last time I checked.
2018. That's correct. So we made predictions at the end of 2017 of what was going to come in 2018. And there were a few of us that were there at the time. I was there, Warp Jester was there, Linz was there, and so was Zez. So today we're going to recap those predictions and see who got what right. And there's going to be a whole point system, and we'll be able to kind of like see who did the best in terms of predictions. And then what we'll do after we kind of cover all that off, Component Z and myself will make some predictions for year 2019 and see at the end of that year who did well and who got the best predictions and so on. Yeah. For those of you who are watching the video after the fact, oh, you can actually see it in the chat log there. CZ just threatened to ban Dragon. Nice. All right. So as usual, when we do the predictions episodes, we do two different predictions. Oh, shoot. I almost forgot that I was worried for a sec that I didn't have mine. But we do two different predictions. One is a likely prediction. So we predict something that we believe is very likely to happen in the coming year. And then the second prediction is a stretch prediction or out of this world prediction, something that we, in the realm of possibility could happen, but is super, super unlikely. Or if it did happen, you'd be like, where the hell did you get the crystal ball, Kirak or CZ? You know what I mean? So that's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover off last year's likely prediction and stretch prediction, tally up the points, and then we'll move on to our predictions. So without any more explanation,
Or technical difficulties, hopefully.
Or thank you. I'll start off with myself. So last year, I predicted, my likely prediction was that Microsoft was going to release a VR headset for holiday season 2018 for the Xbox One X, and it was going to retail for $239 US. So not a third-party, HTC Vive or any other kind, and then they work with it on their system, but an actual Xbox branded headset.
Kind of like the PlayStation one?
Correct. Kind of like what was it? It was called Project Morpheus, and it's now PlayStation VR. Yeah. So when we do the predictions and see who got what and so on, we had the ability to support that person's prediction or say, no, that prediction is not going to come true, or abstain. And we have a point system so that if somebody gets one question or one prediction correct, they'll get plus 10 points. If they get it incorrect, they'll get minus 10 points. And then depending on if the person who's supporting the person making the prediction is right, they'll get plus 5 points. And if they're wrong, they'll get minus 5 points. In this prediction, I was wrong. In 2018 holiday time, nothing came out from Microsoft that was a VR headset, which I was really hoping because I have my system and I would love VR. So for that prediction, I got minus 10 points. I did not succeed with that prediction. Interestingly enough, with Warped, Linz, and Zez each said, no, that prediction's not going to come true. You're wrong, Kirak. And they were right. So each of them got a plus 5 points for guessing that correctly. And that was my likely prediction. Good to hear my unlikely. Can I make out of this world prediction? So I'm going to move on to Warped. And Warped was actually pretty cool because he predicted that Nintendo sales would pass the 14 million mark at its 1 year for the Nintendo Switch. And he actually predicted this correctly. Projected was 14 million sales in the first year, and what they actually did was 17.9 million sales of Nintendo Switch units. So because Warped got that prediction correct, Warped, you're not here, buddy. Right now you'd be like, what? I can't hear you. I got it right? What? So because he got it right, he gets 10 points.
Yeah, he may have gotten one right. We don't know.
Yeah. So So at this point, Linz and Zez both disagreed with Warp last year, and so they got -5 because he was correct and they were wrong. Guess what? Kirok supported Warped. I said, yes, I believe that the Switch will surpass that amount. And so that gives me a +5 points, which is excellent. Moving on, we are now at Linz. And Linz predicted that, So Linz predicted that Patreon would deplatform 2 specific people, Dick Masterson, and Asterios Konikos. Yes. And so she was saying that they were very...
Who's been on our show before.
Who's been on our show before, exactly. And she was predicting that because they're very... what's the word I'm looking for? Their topics tend to be very controversial and outspoken and things like that, that they would begin deplatforming people, and these would be 2 of the people that would be deplatformed. So I went back and checked this year, and they're still there. They're still earning off of Patreon. So at that point, I had to say, no, she was wrong about it. And because she was wrong about it, she got -10 points. Interestingly enough, Zez said, no, you're wrong, Linz, and he was correct. So he gets a +5, while both myself and Warped agreed with her. We supported her prediction, and we were wrong about it. So we both got -5 points. Dang it. And the final person who made a prediction in the likely predictions category was Zez. And Zez had indicated that EA, everyone loves EA, will announce a mobile Star Wars game outside of Galaxy of Heroes. So there is already a mobile Star Wars game called Galaxy of Heroes, but he was saying that they were going to, in 2018, announce a new mobile Star Wars game. Now, there was an update to a new mobile Star Wars game called Rise to Power, but that was an update that happened in 2018, where so I didn't count it towards him getting the 10 points because it was originally announced in August 15 of 2017, which is outside the time frame, outside the year. So essentially, he got that prediction incorrect, which got him a -10. And I was, this is where Warped was like, you pretty much agreed with everyone, right, Kirok? And I was like, yeah. So I did agree with him, and I got a -5 on that. The 2 people who got +5s were both Warped and Linz. So Warped and Linz disagreed with Zez's call on that, and they were correct, so they got +5 points. Now that brings us basically to the end. Whoa, you just moved around a lot there.
I was trying to adjust the camera, and it didn't work out quite as well as I'd hoped.
So that brings us to the end of the likely predictions from 2017 for 2018. And we'll tally up the total. Kirok ended up with a good -15 as opposed to a bad -15. So I got -15. All right, let's move on. Warped, on the other hand, had a +15 at the end of that. So he kicked ass. Both Linz and Zez ended off with -5 each. So really the winner in that round under likely predictions was Warped with a +15, while the other ones of us were, in the negatives. Yeah, it was cool. I can't wait to talk about my predictions this year. You wait. So this is I'm moving on now to the stretch predictions. All right.
Linz and Zez were both +5?
Linz and Zez were both -5.
-5, okay.
Yeah, on that. So I ended up with a -15, Linz and Zez -5 each, and then Warp was the +15. Basically, he won the likely predictions. So I'm going to go on to now the, look at that, you're putting the score in chat. That's awesome.
Yeah,
thank you.
But I had to sit there, and I was trying to type it out, and I was trying to make sure I had it right.
Oh, you heard Star Wars and it was your favorite franchise? Well, that was Zez's likely prediction for 2018, and it was incorrect, unfortunately. But great franchise. So going on to the stretch predictions. Now, these are the predictions that we made that we, like I said, out of this world, very unlikely to happen. But if they did, still within the realm of plausibility. If they did, it would be like really, really good. In fact, so good that the second part of the show is double the points. So basically, anybody who gets one right, 20 points. Anyone who gets it wrong, minus 20 points. Those who support correctly, plus 10 points. Those who support or don't support, right? Don't support and get it wrong, or support and get it wrong, are minus 10 points. So we're going to keep on going. Again, we're going to start with mine. And this was one of my really, really favorite predictions. And I got really, what's the word I'm looking for?
Speaking of Star Wars, I noticed you're repping that Star Wars shirt.
Oh, yeah, take it out. You like that? I forgot I had it on.
It's like...
Very effective from the past of the Jedi. So I made this prediction. I stood by it. It didn't happen, so I'll tell you what it is. But a lot of people harped on me for this. But I still kept, throughout the year of 2018, tweeting stuff out as if it existed, because I believed it was going to happen. So I predicted, for my stretch in 2018, Nintendo Switch Pro would come out in holiday season 2018. That's right, not a Nintendo Switch, but a Nintendo Switch Pro, specifically with upgrades such as 1080p built-in screen and 4K to a TV. It don't happen. It didn't happen. No, it didn't happen. So I get a minus 20 points for that. And both Warped and Linz were like, this is an easy give me. They were like, no, it ain't gonna happen. Zez was on board with them, so they were all correct. It didn't happen. They each got plus 10 points. Silver Kitty. Oh, is Silver there?
Yeah, I grabbed him before he tried to get up on the back of the chair.
Gotcha. So that was my killer prediction of 2018, and it didn't happen.
Oh, it killed all right.
Well, you wait till you hear mine today for 2019.
Oh, I've got one for 2019 that's going to be out of this world. Literally.
The next person was Warped, who came across with a prediction, and his prediction was we will have in 2018 our first official AI scare. And there were a couple of things that actually happened in 2018 that earned him he got it right. So I'll explain. That way you know what I mean by that. Give me one sec here, guys. So in 2018, there was a project that was happening with Facebook where they had like two different computer systems talking a language between them. I don't know the exact details. And they let them run loose. They let them go wild. And apparently they changed the language themselves and developed a language that was faster for them to communicate. And apparently it freaked everyone out, so they shut it down.
Yeah.
So that's kind of scary, because they basically let AI take control, and AI quickly changed and superseded what we had understanding of. And that's kind of scary.
The answer to your question is yes, really.
Really? Yes, really.
Yeah,
and that's
this was the thing that happened.
That actually happened. And there was a second thing that happened. This is on a little more of a sad note. There was the first autonomous vehicle death recorded with an accident. It was an Uber vehicle, and the Uber vehicle was traveling down a street or a road. This was in Phoenix, Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. And a pedestrian by the name of Elaine Herzberg was struck and then later died from their injuries. And if you watch the video, I remember mentioning this once before, there was a person in the vehicle, and that person's job was to look at the console and get readouts from that information, make documentation. So they weren't really looking forward. If you look at the video, it almost looks like they're looking at a phone, but then if you read the article, there's discussion about how they were doing what they were supposed to do. And before it was, it was basically too late. By the time they looked up and saw what happened, they had already struck the pedestrian. So not a good thing, because that's basically AI not doing what it's technically programmed to do, or not doing it well enough.
Apparently it wasn't 3 laws safe.
Yeah, exactly. 3 laws of robots, that's right. I remember that.
For anybody who didn't get that joke, that's that's an Isaac Asimov iRobot reference.
Yeah, iRobot.
Supposedly they were built 3 laws safe, which was
what were they? I can't remember.
Robots could not injure a human. robots must protect human life, even at the cost of their own life, and I actually can't remember what the last one was.
The other one.
Yeah.
But I do remember the movie. So
movie is a whole series of books, man.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's iRobot is actually part of the Isaac Asimov Robot City series.
Okay, cool. Learn something new every day. So for that prediction that Warp made, I gave him a plus 20. He got it right. And interestingly, where I would have normally said yes, I actually said no. It's not going to happen, Warped, and I was wrong, so I got minus 10. Both Linz and Zez followed suit with me. They agreed that it wasn't going to happen, so they both gave an answer of no support to Warp, and that gives them both a minus 10 as well. Next person was Linz, and Linz predicted at this point, she said, we will get an announcement on the release of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, so the game.
Actually, I think that might be correct, Dragon. The robot must preserve its life without bypassing the first two laws.
Oh, wow, okay.
I think you are correct. That sounds correct.
Must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really good. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the three laws safe.
Got it. So those are just the laws in that series, in that book series, right?
Yeah.
It's not really a standardized law that actual human and technology follows, or are they going to adopt that?
I don't know, but that was the in Isaac Asimov's Robot City series. The robots that were built to help humans, the AI controlled robots, ran that as those were the core,
like primary laws, right?
Yeah, those were the core. That's the center of how they were supposed to run. Were those
Sweet.
three laws. Oddly enough, one of the companies that is mentioned in the movie, you were talking about the movie, was a real company that specialized in robotics.
Okay.
Well,
I haven't watched it in so long.
Well, yes. It was actually purchased by a telecom company, but one of the companies that was there was U.S. Robotics.
Okay.
Which was a real company.
I've heard that name. Yeah.
Which was a real company that was bought by 3Com.
All right.
And Dragon, you're right every once in a while.
So, yeah. Linz had predicted that they would announce the release of Shadow of the Tomb Raider in 2018. They did, as of, I think it was September 14, 2018, it was released, and they announced it April 27th. So she got that right. She predicted that they were going to announce the game, the new video game, kind of a tie-in to the movie, and she was correct about it. This was the first one where Warped actually abstained. So you have the choice to abstain. You don't have to support, and you don't have to say, no, it's not going to happen, or, go against. And he decided to just abstain. So for that, he gets 0 points because he didn't support or, say no, conflict with them. Now, I, myself, Kirok, and Zez both agreed. We both said yes to this prediction, which gave us a total of 10 points for that support, which is pretty cool. Last one, and this ends off the stretch predictions, was Zez. And Zez's prediction was kind of like a two-parter with two parts in each, a four-parter. The first part was we will get release dates for The Last of Us 2 and Days Gone. So Days Gone is the new game coming out for PS4. They've been working on that for a while. And then Last of Us 2, they've been working on that for a little while too. I can't wait for that game. The second half was Red Dead Redemption 2 and what's the other one? GTA 5 will be in the top 10 selling games of 2018. So I did some research looking after these, and he didn't quite get everything right. So I'd look at the top 10 2018. One was a list from Forbes. One was a list from, was it Amazon? And in one list, we had our Red Dead Redemption, but no GTA. And the other list, we had GTA, but no Red Dead Redemption. So he was saying that both of them would be in the top 10. I looked at a couple of lists. It wasn't, but both of them in the top 10, so I didn't give that to him. The other part, the first part where we were talking about release dates for Last of Us 2 and Days Gone did get a release date, but Last of Us 2 still does not have a release date, even as of now. So I couldn't give him that as well. In the end, he got a -20 because his prediction didn't come true.
Well, he did get. You said he did get one, right?
He got one. He got the Days Gone release date prediction correct, and he got.
Can you give him 5 points for that? Out of a 20 points, he did have four. He did have four.
It's like 4, and he got one here and one here. You know what I mean?
So half. So that should be 10 points.
So half. Right. Okay. So that would give him a -10, not a -20.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Let me scratch that in. Hang on a second.
Because I mean, technically, he did have parts correct.
Okay. Okay. All right.
And mostly I'm setting ground rules for my. I'm having precedence.
Oh, for your prediction coming up.
So when I make my prediction, if only part of it comes true, I know that I can have partial credit.
Nice. I think we did that last time too, so I'm cool with it. It's all good. So it ended up that myself, Kirok, said, yes, I support you with this. But because he got it wrong, I had a -10. So now does that mean I get a -5 instead? See what that does when we make that exception?
You know what? I'm going to give you the -5 because if you agreed with all of it, then technically you agreed with the half that was correct as well as the half that wasn't.
All right, okay, so -5. Both Warped and Lins said no, which gives them +10s, but now that means they should only have +5s. Right? Half.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll give them +5s if we carry on with that logic.
Yeah, we're gonna give them half credit where half credit is due.
Okay, all right. So what that does, let me do the tally up again now.
That changes your numbers.
That changes the numbers, but that's okay because I got a -5 rather than a -10. So basically, I have a -25. Because when I tallied it up, I had -20 plus -10 with a +10. So that's just -20 and a -5 is 25. So I'm at -25. So for the stretch predictions, my score is -25. Warped score was +10, +20, so that's +30, 0, and +5, so that's +35. I had him at +10, +40. Lynn's had a +10, -10, so that's out. +10, +20 because she got her prediction right, and a +5 that puts her at +25 instead of +30. And then Zez +10, -10, +10, -10, which gives him nada, 0. So he got nothing for that. So basically, I got -25 on that run.
Hold on. Let me get these typed out here.
You're gonna type them out? Okay,
yeah.
No problem.
So you got -25.
And then Warped got a +35.
+35. Lynn's.
Yeah, Lynn's got a +25 for her prediction. So she was right on Warp's tail.
And then Zez was a big 0.
Yeah, so Zez was a big 0.
Okay, and let's go over some totals here. First of all, let's start with Mr. Kirok, because you were here and I can make fun of you.
Yes. So in the likely predictions, I scored a minus 15. And in the unlikely or stretch predictions, I scored a minus 25. When you total that up, you end up with a minus 40. Respectable minus 40. Come on, I want to make it...
There's nothing... I don't think there's anything respectable about a minus 40 in this. And what is Mr. Warp? Mr. Warped is at plus 15 for the first round and plus 35 for the second round.
Correct.
So that would be a plus 50. 50,
yep. So he scored a plus 50, which is damn good. He just killed everyone right there in that one shot.
Lynn's was at a minus 5 in the first round.
Yep.
And a plus 25 in the second round. So she shows up with a plus 20.
Plus 20. You got it.
And then Zez was at a minus 5 in the first round. A 0 in the second round. So he wraps this out with a minus 5. With a respectable minus 5.
Well, no, my number's higher. So let me recap the scores from the likely predictions. Kirok had a minus 15 at the end of the likely predictions. And then Warp.
A minus... Oh, likely
or
likely. Okay. I thought maybe you were trying to
pull a fast one.
Yeah,
this is my chance.
It's like, wait, I have the numbers in chat that are still up on my other window. I know.
So continue on with likely. Warped got a plus 15. Lynn's got a minus 5, and Zez got a minus 5. So let's go to the totals for the unlikely predictions. Kirok got a minus 25. Should I use the word I used last time? Respectable?
No. Zez's score is respectable.
Is respectable. Not mine.
Lynn's score is respectable. Warp's score is amazing.
Is amazing. And Warp scored on the stretch prediction, and this is a stretch prediction, plus 35. Lynn scored plus 25, which is actually pretty damn good too.
Yeah.
And then Zez got a minus 0, so he didn't go up or down either way. When we tally up those two scores, add them all up, our combined final total for 2018 predictions, Kirok with minus 40.
Makes your heart sink, doesn't it?
It does, yes. And I'm about to follow my footsteps this year around. Warped ended off with a plus 50. Lynn's ended off with a plus 20, and Zez had a mere minus 5. Nothing big. So that was the predictions from 2017 for 2018, both likely and stretch predictions. And I hope you guys like that. That's pretty cool. All right. All right. So now we're going to take a moment to just go into our predictions for 2019. We're at the beginning of 2019. FaZe, hey, welcome to the stream. How you doing, my friend? All right, on. Well, thanks for coming. So we are now, you missed it, but I'm going to be posting it on the Bottle Rocket Gaming YouTube channel in a couple of days. We just wrapped up our 2018 predictions that we made back in end of 2017, and we are now making new predictions for 2019. Obviously, leaving out the first half of this month. I predict that CES, they're going to tell... No, that already happened. So at the moment, both myself and CZ will be going over our predictions. And as usual, we will have predictions that are likely predictions, meaning that they're likely, we believe that they're a prediction that's a pretty good chance that they're actually going to happen. And then after we finish our likely predictions, we're going to go over unlikely predictions or stretch predictions, predictions that most likely wouldn't happen but aren't outside the realm of possibility. Who wants to go first?
I'm going to let you go first.
You're going to let me go first?
I'm going to let you go first.
And then we'll switch on the unlikely?
After that score, you deserve it.
Okay. Thanks, I appreciate it. All right.
Need to give you a chance to redeem yourself.
I'm not going to make it any better, I don't think. But anyways. So I predict that EB Games, sorry, not EB Games, GameStop. So GameStop is a brick and mortar retail chain in the U.S. where, yeah, you go first, Kirok says Phase, where you can walk in and buy video games, disc-based video games. So you can walk into this chain and buy yourself a game like that. You can buy other things too. There's all kinds of like this. I bought this at EB Games. So the EB Games is the Canadian version of GameStop. They reported a loss of I can't remember how much it was, $385 million or 485. I think it was 485. Back in November, on November 3rd. Actually, I have it written down. Sorry, guys. Give me 2 seconds. I'll pull it up. And so essentially, what's that?
Fail.
No, oh no, those are my Red Dead Redemption goals. Sorry. So yeah, 488.6 million was reported as their quarter loss on November 3rd, 2018. Okay, so this prediction is, and they've already done this in previous years, but this is a prediction. They have a total of 7,267 retail stores worldwide. Some are under different names, like in Canada, it's EB Games as opposed to GameStop. And I don't know what the other names are in other countries, but I'm predicting that 5% of their stores will be closed down. We were talking about this before. By their next, when they share their next quarter earnings, not their next quarter earnings, but next year. So again, I guess they would do it on November 3rd like they did last time. So essentially, if you do the math, it's about 363 stores out of the 7,267. So my prediction is that they're going to be announcing closures and closing and have them closed by that time. That's my prediction. So right now, CZ, you have the opportunity to support that prediction or say, no, I don't support that prediction, or you can even abstain. You can not go either way.
I don't support that prediction. First of all, I think it's going to be a lower number. I think it's going to be lower than 5%. Part of the reason is I know that GameStop, while GameStop, or at least their parent company, owns GameStop, EB Games, they also own some other properties, including ThinkGeek.
Yes, you had mentioned that to me before.
So I think ThinkGeek's gonna give them kind of that behind the scenes boost that they're gonna need. So while they may close some stores, I think it might be lower than 5%.
Okay, I'm going to jot that down. Lower than 5%. Okay, but that's still a no. You don't agree with my prediction at being at 5%. Okay.
Correct.
All right, cool. I gotcha. All right, so you get to go now on your likely prediction for 2019, my friend.
I think that Sony is going to drop us a new classic console for a PS2.
So a PS2 Classic.
Yeah.
PS2 Classic. Okay. All right.
I think the PS2 Classic is going to hit this year. They did at least reasonably well with the PS1 Classic. Sales on it were pretty decent.
Well, I mean, they kind of, a lot of people. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm tongue tied. What I've seen online for PS1 Classic, a lot of people were putting it down. Yeah, that's right. A lot of people were putting it down for what they did in terms of the quality of the build, the games that are available on it, and so on. And then they ended up dropping the price of the PS1 Classic.
True, but I think...
Personally, I want one because then I can mod the shit out of it, but that's just me.
I think the other thing that's going for it is we're in this time period where retro gaming like that is the current fad, if you would. People,
Gotcha.
People like me and you who grew up with, the Nintendos, the Super Nintendos, the PlayStation 2, were becoming adults with disposable income.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay.
So they're going to cater to us being, having that disposable income and, the nostalgia for being a kid growing up playing games.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. I'm gonna support you on this. I'm gonna say yes. I believe you're right. And my main reason for saying that is because I totally buy in on the nostalgia thing. Right? So just to kind of give it a little explanation, I really want to get a PS1 Classic. Now the fact that you can actually go ahead and modify it a touch makes it even more valuable in my eyes. Just a bit. It makes it a little bit more valuable in my eyes. And to me, I grew up with that game. That was really my first true console. Actually, not exactly. It was my second true console, and I fell in love with a shit ton of games on it. I was for a sec there. Should I swear? So I get the nostalgia part of it. When it comes to the PS2, it wasn't really my big console. I don't have that same attachment in terms of nostalgia. But if my attachment to the PS1 Classic is what it is, and I recognize that, I can easily see a lot of other people who love that console going for it just because of that reason. I just hope that they do a good job. They kind of really tripped over their own feet on the PS1 Classic. So I hope they learn from that when they do it.
I mean, I can't say anything. I have an SNES Classic. I love it. It's a fun little thing, and it reminds me of days playing games.
Right on.
Now, growing up, I actually didn't have an SNES, but I had a really close friend that did. So,
okay,
like Mario Kart on the SNES, I used to play the hell out of that with him.
Nice.
So,
okay, all right, that's cool. Excellent. So I support you. PS2 Classic. So it's going to come out in 2019. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to make a little note.
Yeah, I probably for holiday season would be my guess.
Which would totally make sense. Totally. Okay. All right. So that basically covers the likely predictions from both myself and CZ for 2019. I like yours a lot, actually.
Dragon does think that BioWare is going to take their in-game cash shop to loot boxes and potentially end up in a court over it. So that's kind of an interesting thought there.
Related to 76 like another canvas bag. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. And FaZe says his first console was the Xbox 360. I hope he said he means.
He did correct himself. It's 360.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. And Skyrim, and we're still playing that 7 years later. Yeah, that game's a great game. I really love it. I have it on a few different systems.
I have to admit, I've never played Skyrim.
You've never played Skyrim?
I've never played Skyrim.
Okay, stream's over. We're gonna get on a call, and you and I, we're gonna play. Too bad it's not multiplayer. Yeah. That would be awesome.
Actually, to be fair, I've never played any of the Elder Scrolls games.
Oh, okay. Skyrim is a good one to do. I got into Oblivion, and then my biggest regret was Morrowind. Morrowind, I played it on the Xbox original, hated it. I was like, what is this garbage? Nah. And now that I've gotten more of a taste into the games, I'm like, I should have played that game, and I can't go back and play it. It's too late. What? Oh no, Component ZY, says FaZe.
I just what really blows people's minds. I'm a big D&D player.
Oh, D&D is awesome. Yeah, so you should love playing a game like Skyrim.
Yeah,
And nowadays, with computers, like you're building a whole new system, you said,
yes,
that machine would probably kick ass and run, and you could put in a whole bunch of mods that will make it like ultra real Skyrim, ultra high resolution and everything.
So I've just never played any of the Elder Scrolls games.
Okay, all right. Well, we got to change that. All right, so now we're going to move on to the unlikely predictions, so the stretch predictions from both myself and Component Z. This is where we're going to have fun.
And
you're going to go first. I'm not going to go first,
yeah,
okay?
I was going to say,
right.
I will go first since I made you go first last time. Mine is a two-parter.
Okay, two-parter.
That's why I wanted the half points later. Part number one is I firmly believe that SpaceX's, or well, we're going to go with Elon Musk's here because I don't know if it's actually going to be under SpaceX or not, but his satellite internet service is going to kick off this year.
Satellite internet. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, his low Earth orbit satellite internet. And the second part is, I think it's going to put a hurting on like the cable companies, Time Warner, Comcast.
Okay, I'm jotting it down. This will hurt. I wonder.
I mean, it is a stretch prediction. So.
Yeah, okay, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, it could happen. I think I've even heard him talk about it before. Yeah. No, here's the thing, though. When you're saying it'll hurt the cable companies, right? You said specifically a few, and they're all U.S. based. In Canada, we have different ones, but it should still affect us as well.
Yeah, Rogers will probably take a hit.
Kojiko's another one here.
Thank you. I don't know much about our Canadian brethren's cable internet providers.
Yeah.
Or we'll say broadband internet providers because I don't know what you guys have up there. I know somebody who works for a wireless broadband service up there, but
I think that's great. Like as a prediction, yes, it's a bit of a stretch, but I think that would be freaking awesome, and I'll tell you why. Because it'll put a little bit of shake into those other guys who thinks they got everything under control. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because let's say this. I don't know anything about the technology in terms of it being, say, satellite internet and what the quality of that kind of connection would be, if it's going to be something that is faster and more stable than what is already out for cable, let's say.
Well,
I mean, you have options like fiber, but that's different, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
To back up my prediction.
Yeah.
The reason I'm supporting this tremendously, it's going to be use low Earth orbit satellites instead of high Earth orbit satellites.
Gotcha.
Most of your like Dish Network satellites are high Earth orbit. You can have one satellite cover, half the state of Texas.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or a quarter of Canada. Just with one satellite. Low Earth orbit satellites in this case would require a larger mesh to cover, say Canada.
Gotcha. So you need more satellites to cover the landmass.
Yeah, because they're closer. They don't have the it's not a big wide area.
Wide view.
It's a short area. But if what he is saying is correct, you're talking a max of a 30 millisecond ping. That's actually fairly good. Now, like, yes, my cable sits at roughly about a 15 millisecond ping. So it's maybe twice that. But, you're still talking less than a you're still Talking
Yeah.
less than a second ping.
Gotcha.
So even, online gaming would not be affected. Our
No.
stream wouldn't be affected by
Right.
And he's talking gigabit or greater speeds.
Gigabit or greater. Okay, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm actually liking it. I think the biggest reason for me is the fact that if it actually were to happen, it would shake things up. It would probably give us higher quality internet at a lower cost, and then force the other guys, the other big players, to step up their game. Right? So I'm going to support this. I'm going to say yes. I like.
And there's going to be pushback. Google has shown us that with Google Fiber.
Yeah. But didn't they stop that? They stopped their Google Fiber Pro.
They did. And some of that is because of the pushback. Interestingly enough, I used to live in not North Carolina. I did live in North Carolina, but that's not where the story takes place. I lived near Nashville, and Google was looking at rolling out Google Fiber.
Yeah.
And got a lot of pushback from the incumbent cable company and the incumbent phone company. Part of the pushback was quiet pushback, which would be like, you would come along and be like, hey, I need you to, hey, CZ, I need you to adjust your equipment on your pole to make a little room so I can get my box up there. Sure, I'll have somebody out there later on, maybe in a week or so. Week or so later, you call me back, hey, I'm still waiting on you to get... And finally, they ended up pushing it to the point that they went to the Tennessee Supreme Court to have them make a rule which later became known as one-touch make-ready, which basically says the telephone poles are public domain. Utility companies have the freedom to adjust them as necessary, no matter whose equipment it is.
I didn't know that, but that's in the U.S. though. But
cool. But it did put a big hurting on Google's Project Fi, because there was a lot of people that had signed up early that had paid, and went 6-8 months before they could get service because they had to fight this legal battle of, hey, we can't get them to move their stuff even though you guys want us to come in.
Right, I gotcha. And it's interesting you mentioned this because literally like 3 or 4 days ago, I had a guy knock on the door from Bell, and I knew this was coming because the summer that just went by in 2018, they did construction on my street, and we were talking to the construction guys, and we're like, what's going on? They're like, oh, we're putting fiber in. So I have now the ability to go fiber to the house. And finally, like 4 days ago, so this is like 6 months later after they did the installation of fiber lines in the street, he comes in and he's like, yeah, we have these plans if you want to switch to fiber. So I'm seriously looking at that shit now. I'm seriously looking at that shit. I'll probably do that a little later on, but ooh, it's going to be so good. All right. Okay, cool. Love the prediction. And I'm going to say yes. So we're hoping that Elon Musk's satellite internet takes off, or at least starts. They start putting satellites up, and their service goes live in 2018.
Well, to be fair, they have already put in a couple of the satellites.
Oh, they put the satellites up?
They've put in like 3 or 4 of them.
Okay.
But
nice.
I'm believing that the actual service will go live this year.
Got it. Okay.
I would kill to have fiber, especially if it was symmetric.
Oh, okay.
I hate asymmetric internet. It's like if I get say 40 down, why can't I have 40 up?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Why do I get like like my internet. Why do I get 400 down and 20 up?
Yep. That's where I'm at too. So I hear you. All right. So I'm going to now go with my unlikely prediction for 2019. It is a stretch, but I'm going to stand by it like I stood by last year's. And as you know from my last year prediction, I had predicted that Nintendo would be releasing a Nintendo Switch Pro in holiday 2018, which ended up not working out. It didn't happen. I got that wrong. Okay. All right. I got it wrong, but I know why I got it wrong now. This is why I got it wrong. Nintendo has been busily working on the new Nintendo Switch Mini. Come on. So they shelved the Nintendo Switch Pro project. That's why it didn't happen last year, because they were busily working on the new Nintendo Switch Mini. So in 2019, Phase is like, what? In 2019, we're going to be seeing a new Nintendo Switch, and this Nintendo Switch will be about the size of a Nintendo 3DS XL, maybe a tad bit bigger. It'll be in the same format where you have the screen in the middle and the Joy-Cons on the side. But
wait.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm having a I'm having a bit of deja vu. I feel like I've seen this device somewhere. Oh, that's right. It's a PlayStation Portable.
A PlayStation? Yeah. How'd you know? In fact, my prediction goes on to say that it will have the controls on the side and then the display in the middle, kind of like the PlayStation Portable layout, but the Joy-Cons will not disconnect on this model. It is meant to be a simple stow it in your pocket, very portable game system. However, it will accept the current cartridges that go in the Nintendo Switch, so you can just mix and match them. And with their new online service, the online save is cloud-based, so you can continue your game on a device about yay-ish big, put it in your pocket, take it out, and then if you want a bigger device, you just go and grab your Nintendo Switch, move the card over, pick up your save from cloud, and go. And that... and it'll be a 720p screen too, by the way. And that is the prediction I have for Nintendo Switch Mini in 2019.
So you think Nintendo is going to release a PlayStation Portable? Okay.
Yeah, No, but it's the Nintendo Switch Mini. Come on, man. It's going to happen. And you know what's amazing about my predictions, even though they're probably both wrong? Well, one is wrong. This one's probably going to be wrong. But I'm going to go with it. This is my prediction. I'm standing by it. You know what's amazing is in 2018, I kept seeing videos pop up in my feed on YouTube saying Nintendo's working on a Switch Pro. And I'm like, hey, that was my prediction. So literally 2 days ago, there is a feed on YouTube, a video someone made, and it's a freaking, guess what? Nintendo Switch Mini. So it's just some guy talking about it, but I'm like, damn, that's my idea. And I guess I'll have to get one of those, says Phase. Oh, I can see Pokemon taking off big time with the release of that. There you go. See? There's a crowd out there for it. You're going to say no, aren't you? You're going to say no, aren't you?
I'm going to say no for 2 reasons.
Well, okay. Please explain.
Number one, the first thing I have a problem with on this, why are they going to try to disrupt their own chokehold on handheld gaming?
But they wouldn't. It would be an alternative and just as good as the Switch. What they will actually potentially chew into is their DS line. But we knew that was dead already.
dead. They're still releasing brand new games on the 3DS.
That is true. Well, they're still releasing brand new games on the PS Vita.
They just released they're still releasing the 2DS XL in new colors.
Yes, they are, and it's actually really nice too.
I think the purple and black just release this year? End of last year, I mean?
Gray and orange. I don't know if that was this year. I think that was the original, wasn't it? There was a blue and gray and a an orange and gray, I think.
Yeah, but there's actually 3 colors that are out now. 3 of the single color ones are out now, or well, 2 color. But I think there's there's the white and orange. There's the blue and black, and maybe a red one.
I see the blue and black. I actually just did a search online, but I don't see the other colors. An orange and white. You're right. Orange and white, blue and black, and you said there's one more, right?
I think there's actually one more color.
Not green and blue, right?
Maybe. I don't remember what the other one is.
I see a green and blue, but there's no way I can confirm it's authentic.
I think they also released because last year they also released the Pikachu edition, because everybody was all up in arms about it. Because, well, we won't talk about the Pikachu edition. Why we're up in arms about it.
I can only hear FaZe right now. Like, what? What do you mean?
But why, if you have the market cornered on handhelds,
it's just more choice.
Why would you even do that?
Because it'll give your people, the people who buy your product, an option, a choice, and they can get one or the other. They could even probably sell it for like $250, about half the price of the Switch, and still make that money because they dropped the price of the whatchamacallit, the DS.
The other thing I think they would do, the other half of this, instead of doing that, I think what they would do is something, for lack of a better way to describe it.
Yeah.
A Wii U, where it's got that separate second screen.
Yeah.
And allow them to play 3DS games on the PC.
Oh, I don't know. I think that's a little more far-fetched.
Hey, if we're going for stretch goals.
Yeah, that's definitely a stretch. But in this case, I mean, my Nintendo Switch Pro is a stretch, or was a stretch. My Mini is definitely a stretch, but I think they're more in the more real than what you just put forward. And you know what? Even though I got it wrong for 2018, there's going to be a Nintendo Switch Pro one day. I should have just kept that as my prediction this year.
Just keep going until it comes
until I get it right.
They change
but no. I think a Mini is in the works. That's why the Nintendo Switch Pro didn't happen. They put that aside. That project was shelved, and they're working on a Nintendo Switch Mini.
See, I don't...
You're like, no. And it's got a RTX 2070 in it.
Yeah, now there's a stretch.
Oh, my gosh. All right, so you do not support me.
No.
No. Okay.
That's an emphatic no, by the way. I'm gonna back up my statements by saying I think I think they know that the 3DS is bread and butter. That the people who want that.
So what if they made a Nintendo Switch Mini that was capable, just hear me out, capable of taking the cartridges from the Switch and also capable of taking cartridges from the 3DS? What if they did that? That's not my prediction, but I just thought of that. So
that to me would be smart. Would be the smart play.
Smart, and you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if they ever did work on a Mini that they do that, because when the 3DS originally came out, it could take the 3DS cartridges and the old Game Boy Advance cartridges, if you recall.
Well, actually, the DS could take the DS cartridges and the
Well, yeah, the DS. That's the very first one, right?
yeah, the first
Yeah.
dual screen was the DS, and that
Yeah.
that accepted DS cartridges as well as Game Boy Advance. Then
Yes,
the
I
then the
remember that.
DS Lite came out, which removed the Game Boy Advance cartridge support, focusing solely on the DS cartridges.
Yeah.
When the 2DS, 3DS came out, and even the new 2DS XL and the new 3DS XL,
Which is the one I have.
which I happen to have the 2DS, the new 3DS
Yeah, you were
XL,
telling me.
and the 2DS XL, but they all support 3DS games and DS games.
And DS games, yeah.
So the DS games are not dead.
Yeah. So my prediction would have been better if I had said not only just a Nintendo Switch Mini that accepts Switch game cartridges, but also 3DS or 3/2DS cartridges.
Yeah.
That probably would have made the prediction better.
I might have gotten behind that one.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, no, I'm going to stick with my prediction. And my prediction is it's a Nintendo Switch Mini. No support, no backward support. It's just a Switch, but smaller. That's my prediction, and that's it. I'll remember this. CZ. All right, so that concludes everything, guys. That concludes our wrap up from 2017 predictions for 2018, and it now also sets us off for next year when we will come together and go over our predictions for 2019 and see how well we did. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be so much fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And I am gonna roll outro. I think it's that time.
Okay, we're gonna head out, guys. So have a good night. Thank you for being here. Thank you, FaZe. Thank you, Dragon. Much appreciated, guys. And thank you, CZ.
Don't forget to support us on Patreon. Also follow us on Twitter. Thank you for watching and good night. Cheerio.